The kitchen entrance at the Bellmont Estate was where my sister wanted me to spend her wedding reception. "Just stay back here, Natalie," Lauren had whispered urgently, gripping my arm as guests filtered into the grand ballroom. "You'll embarrass us. Please." I'm Natalie Morrison, 29, and according to my family, I'd embarrass them by choosing to work in state government instead of joining the family's insurance brokerage firm. My sister Lauren, 26, was marrying Marcus Whitfield, whose family owned a chain of luxury car dealerships across 3 states. This was her moment to shine among the Whitfield family's elite social circle. I'd received my invitation 2 weeks ago, not the embossed cream cardstock Lauren had been showing off for months, but a text message: "Hey, there's technically space if you want to come. Don't bring anyone. Dress nice but not too nice." I'd driven 4 hours from the state capital anyway, arriving in a simple burgundy dress. That's when Lauren intercepted me in the foyer, her face pale beneath her professionally applied makeup. "What are you doing here? You invited me to your wedding. I didn't think you'd actually come." She glanced nervously toward the ballroom where 200 guests mingled. "Look, Marcus's family is very particular. His parents, his uncle the senator, their business associates. These are successful people." "I have a job, Lauren." "You work for the government." She said it like I collected garbage. "You live in a studio apartment. You drive a 10-year-old Honda. Marcus's family will ask questions and I can't have you explaining your little nonprofit job or whatever it is." "I work in veterans services." "Nobody cares, Natalie." Her voice turned sharp. "This is my wedding. My day. You'll sit in the kitchen where you won't embarrass us." Before I could respond, she'd flagged down the wedding coordinator. "This is my sister. She's not feeling well. Can she sit in the catering area? Just for the reception?" The coordinator, a woman named Beth, looked uncomfortable. "Miss Morrison, guests should be in the ballroom." "It's fine," Lauren said firmly. "She prefers it. Don't you, Natalie?" I could have fought. Could have made a scene. Instead I said, "Sure, Lauren. Whatever you want." Her relief was visible. "Thank you. Just stay out of sight." That's how I ended up on a folding chair in the kitchen corridor, watching through the service window as my sister's wedding reception began. My parents sat at table 1 with the Whitfield family: Marcus's father Gerald, his mother Patricia, and his uncle, Senator Richard Whitfield, who represented our state in Washington. My brother Eric sat at table 3 with his wife, both dressed to impress. Eric worked for Dad's firm, drove a BMW and lived in the right neighborhood. He was the success story. I was the disappointment who'd gone into public service after college. The ceremony had been beautiful. Lauren looked stunning. I'd stood in the back of the chapel, 17 rows behind the family, next to Marcus's great-aunt who kept asking if I was with the flowers. Now through the kitchen window I watched my family celebrate without me. My phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. "Ms. Morrison, this is David Park, the governor's chief of staff. The governor will be arriving at the Bellmont Estate in approximately 20 minutes. She's attending the Whitfield wedding as Senator Whitfield is a close colleague. She's asked to see you personally. Where should her security detail find you?" My heart rate picked up. I texted back, "I'm in the kitchen service area." Long story. 3 dots appeared. The kitchen. "I'll inform the governor." I'd worked at the State Department of Veterans Services for 7 years, starting as a caseworker and rising to deputy director. 3 months ago, after a veterans housing crisis made national news, I'd developed an emergency response program that housed 200 homeless veterans in 60 days. The success caught the attention of Governor Rebecca Chin, who'd appointed me to her Veterans Affairs Advisory Council. Last week, she'd offered me a position as her senior policy advisor for veterans issues, a role that would put me in her inner circle, attending cabinet meetings and shaping state policy. I'd accepted yesterday. The announcement was scheduled for Monday. Nobody in my family knew. They'd never asked about my work beyond dismissive comments about government jobs and modest paychecks. Through the window I watched the reception proceed. Champagne toasts. The first dance. My mother laughing with Patricia Whitfield, probably discussing how well Lauren had married. "Excuse me, are you Natalie Morrison?" I turned. A man in a dark suit with an earpiece stood in the kitchen entrance. "Secret Service." "Yes. The governor would like to see you. Please come with me." I followed him through the kitchen past confused catering staff into the main foyer. Governor Chin stood there in an elegant navy suit, her security detail around her. Natalie. She smiled warmly and embraced me. I heard you were here. Why on earth are you in the kitchen? Complicated. Family dynamics. Her expression hardened. This is your sister's wedding, correct? Yes, ma'am. And they seated you in the kitchen. It wasn't a question. She turned to her chief of staff. David, where's Senator Whitfield? In the ballroom, Governor. Let's go say hello. Natalie, you're with me. Governor, I don't want to cause. You're my guest now, she said firmly. And my senior policy advisor. We have things to discuss. We walked into the ballroom, the governor's security detail creating a path through the crowd. Conversations stopped. Heads turned. Governor Rebecca Chin was instantly recognizable. She'd been on the cover of Time magazine last month as one of America's most effective governors. Senator Whitfield spotted her immediately and approached, hand extended. Governor Chin. What an honor. I didn't know you were coming. Richard. She shook his hand. I wouldn't miss your nephew's wedding. I'm actually here to see one of the guests. My new senior policy advisor, Natalie Morrison. She gestured to me. The senator's eyes widened in recognition. Natalie Morrison? The deputy director who ran the Emergency Veterans Housing Program. The same, the governor said. She's joining my senior staff on Monday. I wanted to personally congratulate her before the public announcement. The ballroom had gone silent. Every guest was staring. My parents looked like they'd been struck by lightning. Lauren's face had drained of all color. Marcus's father Gerald approached quickly. Governor Chin, what an unexpected pleasure. I'm Gerald Whitfield. Mr. Whitfield, congratulations on your son's wedding. I understand Natalie is the bride's sister. Yes, I believe so. Wonderful. Where is she seated? I'd love to join her table if possible. Beth, the coordinator, rushed over with her seating chart, looking panicked. Governor, we didn't have you on the guest list. That's fine. Where's Natalie seated? Beth's eyes darted to my mother, then back to the governor. There was a request that she sit in the kitchen area. The kitchen. The governor's voice went cold. You seated my senior policy advisor in the kitchen? My mother stepped forward, her face pale. Governor Chin, there's been a misunderstanding. Natalie wasn't feeling well, she asked. I'm standing right here, Mrs. Morrison. Why don't we ask Natalie directly? The governor turned to me. Did you ask to sit in the kitchen? 200 pairs of eyes waited for my answer. My sister suggested it would be better if I stayed out of sight, I said quietly. She was concerned I'd embarrass the family in front of the Whitfield social circle. Lauren made a choking sound. Marcus grabbed her arm. Senator Whitfield's face darkened. You hid the architect of the most successful veterans housing program in the country in your kitchen? We didn't know, my father started. You didn't know because you never asked, the governor interrupted. Natalie has spent 7 years revolutionizing how this state serves veterans. She's housed hundreds of homeless veterans, reduced VA wait times by 40%, and personally counseled over 1,000 families. I've been trying to recruit her to my senior staff for 6 months. She finally agreed this week. Patricia Whitfield looked horrified. The Morrison family is your family, Lauren? Lauren couldn't speak. Marcus stepped forward. Governor, if we'd known about Natalie's position. Her position shouldn't matter, the governor said sharply. She's family. But since it apparently does matter to the Whitfields, let me be clear. As of Monday, Natalie will be attending cabinet meetings, advising me on policy affecting 300,000 veterans in this state, and representing my administration at national conferences. She'll have an office in the Capitol and a seat at every important table in state government. She turned to Beth. Now, where should my honored guest be seated? Beth stammered. The head table is reserved for immediate family. Perfect. That's where she belongs anyway. The governor offered me her arm. Shall we? As we walked toward the head table where Lauren and Marcus sat frozen, I heard the whispers explode behind us. That's the governor's new advisor? They made her sit in the kitchen? The Morrison family must be mortified. We reached the head table. The governor smiled at Lauren. Congratulations on your wedding. I hope you don't mind if I borrow your sister for a bit. We have policy matters to discuss. Lauren's mouth opened and closed. No sound came out. The governor turned to Senator Whitfield, who'd followed us. Richard, join us? I'd love Natalie's input on the Veterans Employment Bill you're sponsoring. For the next hour, I sat at the head table with the governor and Senator Whitfield, discussing policy while my sister's wedding reception happened around us. Guests lined up to introduce themselves, to congratulate me, to ask about the Veterans Program. Business cards appeared from my pockets from nonprofit directors, corporate executives, and government officials. My parents tried to approach once. The governor's security detail politely suggested they wait. When the governor finally had to leave for another engagement, she embraced me again. I'll see you Monday morning, 9 a.m. We have a busy week ahead. Thank you, Governor. Thank me by continuing to do the work you do. She lowered her voice. And Natalie? Family who can't see your worth don't deserve access to your success. After she left, the ballroom felt different. Guests who'd ignored me now wanted to talk. The Whitfield family circled, asking questions about my work, my new role, my plans. Lauren appeared at my elbow, mascara smeared. Natalie, I didn't know. If I'd known you worked with the governor. You didn't know because you never asked what I actually do, I said calmly. You assumed because I don't drive a luxury car or work in Dad's firm that my work didn't matter. You let me put you in the kitchen. Her voice broke. You ordered me to stay in the kitchen so I wouldn't embarrass you. I honored your request. The governor's arrival wasn't planned. Marcus joined us, looking shell-shocked. My uncle just told me you're joining the governor's senior staff. He's been trying to schedule a meeting with you for weeks about the Veterans Employment Bill. I know. I've been reviewing his proposed legislation. We should talk. My family's foundation does veterans work. Your family foundation that didn't think I belonged in your wedding ballroom? I picked up my purse. I don't think so, Marcus. My father pushed through the crowd. Natalie, we need to talk about this privately. About what, Dad? About how you told Senator Whitfield I had a little government job? He repeated it to the governor. She wasn't pleased. His face went red. I didn't know the scope of your work. Biz, you never asked. You were too busy being embarrassed that I didn't join the insurance firm. My mother was crying at table 1. My brother Eric stared at his phone, probably reading news coverage of the governor's surprise appearance. I walked out of the Bellmont Estate into the cool evening air. My phone buzzed with messages. Colleagues congratulating me, reporters requesting interviews about the new appointment, invitations to speaking engagements. The society page the next morning was devastating for my family. Governor Crash's wedding to rescue senior advisor hidden in kitchen, ran with photos of Governor Chin escorting me to the head table while my family looked on in shock. The article detailed my work, the emergency housing program, and my new position. It also included quotes from wedding guests who'd witnessed my sister's request that I stay hidden and my parents' dismissive comments about my career. Lauren called 37 times that week. I didn't answer. My official start date as senior policy advisor was Monday morning. The governor held a press conference introducing me as part of her expanded Veterans Initiative. Senator Whitfield attended, praising my work and announcing his collaboration with my office. My family showed up uninvited. Security turned them away. That Friday, the governor invited me to a meeting with the Secretary of Veterans Affairs in Washington. We flew on the state plane. As we lifted off, she handed me a folder. Your family has been calling my office requesting access to you. I'm sorry. Don't be. I wanted you to know so you can decide how to handle it. But Natalie. She met my eyes. You owe them nothing. You built this career despite them, not because of them. I looked out the window at the state falling away below us. Somewhere down there, my family was processing the reality that the daughter they'd hidden in a kitchen was now dining with governors and senators. The kitchen had given me the perfect view of who they really were. And the governor's arrival had given 200 wedding guests the same view of me. I belonged at the table. I always had. They'd just been too blind to see it. 6 months later, I stood in the governor's office as she signed the Veterans Housing Initiative into law. Legislation I'd written. Senator Whitfield attended the signing ceremony, shaking my hand for the cameras. Your family must be incredibly proud, he said. I smiled politely. They'd sent flowers to my office every week since the wedding. I'd donated them all to the VA hospital. My promotion to Chief Veterans Policy Officer came in the spring. The announcement made national news. My face appeared on the cover of Government Executive magazine, the policymaker who started in a kitchen. Lauren's marriage lasted 8 months. The Whitfields had quietly distanced themselves after the wedding scandal went viral. Marcus filed for divorce, citing fundamental incompatibility and family issues. My mother tried to attend my swearing-in ceremony. Security had her name on the do not admit list. My request. The governor noticed. Still no contact? They had their chance to see my worth, I said. They chose to hide me in a kitchen instead. Their loss, she said firmly. It was. Because while they'd been busy being embarrassed by me, I'd been busy changing lives. 300,000 veterans didn't care where I'd sat at a wedding. They cared that I'd fought for them when my own family wouldn't fight for me. That was the only table that mattered.